my goal is to try to get people who can't understand where we're coming from, where you see what's going on in the world right now.
I panicked a little bit.
Hey man, bring back the old days.
But
I was always ready to go. Like, oh, anytime you show up
All
to a
right.
party,
So with all that said, like I said, I just kind of wanted to throw those questions out, see where you guys landed on that kind of stuff. But it leads into the topic, which I guess would be social norms. So things that everybody does that have kind of just been considered normal, just through programming. Social behaviors that we all do, and one thing that I think is kind of prevalent right now, or not so much prevalent, I guess you would say, is like handshakes. So pre-COVID, if you are introduced to somebody, like you initially would shake their hand, and a lot would be said about you and the person that you're meeting based on your handshake.
Right.
If it's too firm, too soft, you look them in the eye. Did you stand up to do it? You know what I mean? Like those types of things. So I'm just kind of curious on your takes of it. Do you think handshaking is going to come back ever, after COVID?
yeah, that's a good question. But before we start this conversation,
Oh yeah, see, and that's definitely an aspect to
Well,
it.
and I even want to say this. At one point in life, James and I would like practice handshakes, and it was like, you know what I mean. You had to come in with that firm, solid, fucking man
It's
handshake,
a tradition,
right?
Yeah.
And I think it was a good training experience.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a lot of aspects. You
For
know what
sure.
I mean? Like, hey, you know what I mean? If you're gonna meet somebody, go in there and do it right.
Because that's your first impression usually.
Right. And I remember as a kid too, man, one of my family members had passed away, and I was at the funeral, and my uncle came up to me and he goes, hey, look, if someone comes up, they want to shake your hand, you stand up and you shake their hand.
That's right.
And I was a kid, and I thought like, well, what? You
Yeah.
know, but today I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny to see how far away you get from understanding how to shake a hand to now can you shake a hand,
Right,
right? Like, and I guess to answer your question, as far as handshakes go, if you're my boy, I shake your hand anyway, man. Like, fuck it. You know what I mean? We went golfing one time, and I rode in a car with somebody, and we'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Benny, you son of a bitch, right? But no, man. But on a sincere note, for me, who I am, yeah, I'm definitely gonna shake your hand, and I understand there's other aspects to it, and people that. Everyone's different, right? And so we say social norms, but I think social norms are also understanding that everyone is different in how they approach those, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's like a big combine of social norms, and not everyone takes every piece of that pie.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like I said, me and James right now, yeah, that's just something I think that it's just gonna be. If I don't think we've skipped a beat with that, you know what I mean?
But that's developed over time, right? Like you guys are obviously good friends, and that's an aspect of handshaking that I think is interesting. Like as you become closer with someone, you kind of develop your own, you know what I mean, like a spin-off of a handshake, but that's unique to your guys' relationship.
well, for instance, like he said, we did that. We've always done that, even when we weren't close. That was one thing we would do. We always shake each other's hand. Now, to answer your question, I think people are interactive in a way that has been good for society.
Yeah.
And I think that the handshake, because it was before COVID, something that you were able to make a first impression with, it's always been something ingrained in us
Right.
to do, is to evaluate each other based off of this handshake. And it was so like, the handshake is so down to like, did you catch it right? Did you shake it right? Are you a double pumper? Are you a single pumper? Are you someone who grabs the other half? And
Yeah. There's a lot to
there's
it.
a lot to it,
Yeah.
but my whole point to it is like we are human, and that requires us to be social,
Right.
and part of that is to be close. And I'll just say this: I'm somebody who, if I'm just somebody who's very, very touchy in a very masculine way.
I would say, yeah.
Like I'm gonna I don't know where he's going with this, but I will just say this: I prefer.
What's Anthony? Let's hear it.
I know, but I prefer to to grab people sometimes and be like push them and shove them and be handsy.
Yeah.
You know, but I've always done that. I've always like, you know, like kind of shove somebody when we're having a good time.
Right.
I'm like that guy.
Yeah.
So like I just feel like that's something that is in a lot of people. It's not just me.
No,
but I feel like a lot of people are
Yeah.
It's
very
human nature.
It's
I would say.
very physical.
It's
Yeah.
a fairly normal thing to do.
Especially
Yeah.
among men, I would say, and I think that, like, to your point, it's a way to connect with someone, you know, and like even in the initial phases when you're just meeting someone, like the handshake obviously is like a social thing, right? You kind of get a read on somebody, but it's also a way for us just to connect as human beings. Like the physical touch of a handshake, like lets us know, like, hey, you know, we're on the same level in a sense.
Well, if you look at it again, the physicality of greeting somebody has come down, has always been
Yeah.
to touch.
Right.
It's been a handshake. It's been this. It's been a bump.
Right.
So-
something.
So it's always been that. So and that's off a basic greeting. You could never talk to someone and go, hey, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. But you touch her. And what I always think about now in times we're living in is I used to shake everybody's hand.
Right.
I used to dap everybody up. But the reality of it is people are dirty as fuck all the time.
Yeah.
I know people I've shook in people's hands that later on found out that they don't wash their hands in the bathroom.
Right.
So like if you're looking at it in terms of like germs and shit like that,
Yeah, of course.
so
I
to
can
answer your
understand.
question, will it come back?
I think it'll never go away, right?
I think that 1.5 years, because we're probably gonna come up on 1.5 years pretty soon, is not gonna erase that kind of formality, that kind of
Well,
gesture.
Yeah.
Now
that-
I think
that human nature.
I think the germaphobes are gonna be
They're going to be
intensified.
where they are. They're going to be what they are.
it's gonna be intensified.
Yeah.
But for everybody else like me, who will shake your hand,
and then hit the hand sanitizer.
yeah,
after.
like if not even the hand sanitizer, but if I shake your hand, I'm not someone who's gonna be fucking digging in my eye and fucking eating food. That comes down to hygiene and
Yeah.
cleanliness.
Yeah, I get it.
It's not gonna erase the whole
Is
gesture.
there a level of trust there? Though,
Well, that's
do you
what
think?
let me,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to say. I think the fact that like James and I just, you know what I mean, we shake hands every day, whatever the fuck is going on. I think it magnifies that understanding that, like, hey, you know what, like I have a level of trust in you, at least, and so to your
right.
point, I believe you said trust. if
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken, right?
that's my idea.
But I
yeah.
think like, hey, I have that level now. If I was walking down,
did we ever stop?
no, absolutely not. Right? No. And I do understand that there's a difference between people that was something that was already on their mind anyway, right? Like, but that wasn't who we were, so it doesn't impact us in the same fashion. But now there's also, let's say I'm walking down the street and I see somebody that I don't know at all, and he's like, oh, and I'm like, nah, man, I probably would back off on that one. Like, yeah, you don't look like, I have no trust in you. Fuck off, dude. But now you look like a respectable dude, whatever the fuck. I'd say, Travis, we went golfing one time and we was in the clubhouse and dude's like, yo. And I'm like, yeah, I'll shake your hand. I don't care, you know, whatever. And what comes from it, right?
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I would say that, I especially as men, I think a handshake goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If I shake your hand, I mean, there's different levels to it too. Like I might shake your hand because I don't know you at all, and I'm just like, hey, okay, here we are. I'm being introduced to you. But then, do I continue to shake your hand? Right? Like I think that says a lot. Do I continue to do so, or do I not?
Well, I think it comes down to respect as well. You know what I mean? Like after you learn about somebody, I think, like, you know, in general, you know, we kind of treat people with respect until they demonstrate that they don't deserve it. You know what I mean? If you meet somebody for the first time and, you know, they're polite, whatever, like you shake their hand, and then after the fact you learn some stuff about them, maybe
Like they don't wash their hands.
that they don't wash their hands after the bathroom or
Or
whatever.
just don't have a level of respect for them at
Yeah,
all.
exactly. And then after that, you know what I mean, you can kind of make your call, like how confrontational do you want to be?
Well-
You know what I mean? You know, but yeah, there's a level of respect that goes with it. And to your point, like there's always been you know, that kind of level of like human connection even before a handshake. You know what I mean? There's always been some kind of physical level of connection just between humans. And so, you know, to your point, I don't think that, you know, this pandemic is going to erase that necessarily. I just wonder, is it going to evolve? Because like even now, you know, you're at work, you don't necessarily know somebody all that well, and you may not trust them all that much. I've had it where like they kind of give you the elbow, or something a little more distant.
Which, I mean, I'll be honest with you. When someone is like, "Hey, I'm willing to," because we understand how germs work, right? Like, okay, we understand it. So if you're like, "Oh, I'll give you your elbow," I'm like, "Fuck off," anyway. Like, personally, be honest, that's just me. And I don't really care because I'm like, well, don't touch me at all. I don't want to touch you anyway. Like because you're not my boy like that then,
just
right? Like
bow.
you just weren't. Like so, hey, all right, I don't need to touch you. But for me, I'm a physical person and all aspects of it. Like physicality means a lot to me. So like when I walked through today, Travis, I give you a handshake, I pat you on the back. You know what I mean? That's because
little cup check.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely. You're getting better at it, by the way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know where it is
It's
now.
2 hands it takes.
It's a little
It takes
lower.
2 hands,
it's a little
buddy.
lower than I thought.
I'm a little older than
a little
you thought,
closer to
you
your
know what I
ankle.
mean?
Yeah.
No, but on a serious note, man, like physicality means a lot to me. You know what I mean? And a lot of I don't walk in and say hey to my dad and give him a hug, but like every time I see him, I you know what I mean? I give him a little fucking fist bump. What's up, man?
That's getting a little into some other shit that maybe you and your dad should work out. A hug between a father and a son.
I'm just saying we just don't.
All right, fair enough. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, they're most people probably hug their dad.
Well, I don't. So fuck off. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. I don't give a shit.
I'll give you a hug after this.
I don't want your hug now.
Just know it comes from a place of love.
But seriously though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and I mean like I've shook everyone's hand sitting at this table tonight. You know what I mean? Like yo, it's all good with me. I think, and I understand why people get worried about it, especially in a time like now, right? But I also think it's something that's been ingrained. It's hey, you make a deal with somebody, you shake their hand on it, right? That's supposed to mean something.
It means trust.
It literally means nothing, right? It's the mentality of it and everything behind it, way more than what it actually.
Right.
Because you can't go to a lawyer and say, "Well, we shook hands." They didn't give a fuck, right? And that means nothing there.
Right.
It means something between 2 people and doing so.
Right.
And that's why I think, like for me, like if I shake people's hand all the time.
Yeah.
But like James and I, we like, and Anthony as well. We all have like a little handshake. I have handshakes with other people. You know what I mean? A lot. If I don't have a designated handshake for you, Travis, the handshake you got, it's like, hey, Jose, the one you got right now was like, hey, I don't know you that great. What's up? You know what I mean? And that'll be it.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, I just simply think handshakes ain't going nowhere,
right.
Regardless. And we gotta understand, this is not the first pandemic that the world's faced.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
not.
it's definitely not, and it won't be the last, and you'll have more, and shit will happen. Everybody will be all freaked out and everything, and especially in America, we have a short memory, man. We forget shit quickly, and it'll be right back.
For lunch yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what about you, Jose? Like, how important is it to you, and do you think that it's going to continue?
It plays a factor for sure in a person who you are. Just like I rolled up on YouTube today, where I've known you guys for what, an hour?
Yeah, I want to hug you already.
So, I appreciate it. I appreciate that already. But just meeting you guys already, it's a handshake off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a handshake to me determines the type of person you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna finger shake me, that means
the dead fish.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That means
I'm gonna dominate you.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
That's
it
what we
is.
used to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's either I'm gonna kick your ass later or now. Do you want one?
Right,
do you want
right.
one now? Get it over.
Let's
with
get it
or
over
no?
with. Yeah. Rip the Band-Aid off.
If it's a firm handshake, that means you're determined to know somebody. You're dominant and you're a strong person.
And the eye contact, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And whoever breaks that handshake, now don't sit there and make it awkward and we're just shaking hands like, hey,
But if it's premature,
overdo it.
if it's premature,
if it's premature, it determines on who you are because you kind of feel like, oh shit, I broke that kind of early. Who does that make me? Now the firmness on it determines on the person too, because if you are a strong person, you may not know how hard and firm you're shaking the other person's hand,
right?
And it could be intimidating to the other person. So you already overtook that intimidation.
Yeah,
you already won that. If it's
quote unquote, yeah, I get you.
If it is a under quote
it's
competition,
it's always a competition.
Now, I will break the handshake early just because I'm like, all right, it's already been too long. Like, stop shaking my hand. It's I'm gonna pull away already.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel some type of way about it, then we'll handle that somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But now the half finger shake, that's feminine to me off the bat.
Yeah, that's
If you give me a hand,
or
So-
cultural.
Yeah, and
I've
it
learned that too.
It could be cultural
Because
probably
I'm
in the
somebody who-
in the Hispanic.
Yeah, and I've
culture.
learned that because I with him, if I caught his fingers or he caught mine, it was go leave, get out of here.
or redo.
Yeah.
Probably
But yeah,
should redo
see,
it.
and that's another level. I was gonna say, if that happens, and it's it happens on
Yeah,
mistake
it does.
sometimes, then it comes down to like, do you say something? Do you like, hey man, I messed that up. Let me do it
yeah.
again.
No,
should
we
be-
would.
Does that
should
say
be-
something?
we
To,
would.
does
Yeah.
that say something?
Well,
to
no,
you
okay.
too?
I would say if it was James, like I'd be like, oh no, fuck that. God damn it, do it again.
Yeah, that was
now,
weird.
if I was out and someone got it, I'm just like, fuck. I'm not gonna be like, hey, I could do better. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna do that.
But also, you could be like, hey, like you want to make a good first impression, right?
I think very rarely does it happen with someone I don't know.
Okay.
Like very rarely, because now there's too much. There's too much weight on it.
But it does happen, right? It's a genuine mistake.
does
Sometimes
happen.
you
It does.
misjudge the
It does
distance
happen.
or whatever. If you've been drinking like we have, you might miss.
You
the
may miss it. You
yeah,
may miss the target.
but
Yeah.
I think that says something too, right?
Yeah.
If you're willing to be like, hey, I fucked that up. Let's do that again. Like that says something
I would
too.
say something about it. I don't think I'd request a second handshake. I think I would just be like, oh yeah, I don't know. You guys know me, man. Like I'd just say
You
some
should
shit off the
You
cuff.
should say something on the out. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we're good to go and we're leaving, it's
Yeah.
on the out.
You know how I would handle that? Because I'm very physical. Pre-COVID, if you
Go the other arm.
if you catch me,
just the fingers.
Just
if
the
you catch
fingers?
me just the fingers, I'm gonna like
Sock
shove
you in the mouth?
No, I'm gonna shove you.
Oh,
okay.
the forearm a little.
like you're gonna shake, and I'm like, "What's up, dude?" I'm gonna push
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Like
Just play it off.
I could see
Play it off.
Be-
totally
be-
doing
But that
because, like,
determines the
you
finger
st-
shake as well.
because you've already took my dominance. I gotta reassert that shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you what's up.
You know,
yeah. No, okay.
I gotta push you off. Like, hey,
See, I would do
Okay,
it verbally. Like I would
so-
do it verbally. Like I would let you know. Like nah, fuck that. I'd say something. I don't know what it would be, but it would have to be at a
done
moment.
it. That's why I'm asking. It's like I have done it. I've accidentally grabbed someone's fingers, like I grabbed too prematurely, or vice versa.
No, if I grab theirs, I'd be like, oh, you
But-
lose, dude.
But no,
You
but I'd
know?
be like, hey man, I messed it up. Let me get back in there real quick. And then it's not even a thing. Like after that, you continue on business as usual. But if you just leave it at that, then like you said, it kind of
Yeah,
you
you
leave
got
yourself
dominated.
open to
Yeah.
interpretation.
I'm a chameleon in that part because if we did mean to handshake and it was assertive and it was masculine and we just missed. It's coming down to where I'm a chameleon and we're just gonna dab it up
And play
real
it off.
quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Shift it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know you were doing
Fair
that.
enough. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But tap into our adolescence. When you took your first girl out, a handshake to the dad is the most.
Oh no, man. I didn't live in that world.
Is the most like determined. Like okay,
Right.
I'm gonna be close with the family.
Okay, but real quick, that's a very good scenario. But let me give you guys another scenario real quick. Let's just say you go into a job interview. You can't do that. What you did.
Yeah,
You
you're right. You're right.
You may or may not be able to based off the people,
Yeah,
right?
for
So-
sure.
So you can't run it back.
No.
So let's just say you go in, and let's just say they're premature. Now you have to change something else in the room, right?
You just be like, I'm the captain now.
Well,
right, but okay. Now,
how you gonna look like?
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
you can't always run it back.
Well,
and that's
if
why
you're- it's
I can't always push them.
if it's a friend of a friend,
well, and
you
well,
can do that.
it
But
could
at
be
a
over our
job
desk.
interview,
Well, that's
yeah.
why I say too. Like for me, like okay, I rely on my wit. You know what I mean? I'll read the situation. I'll understand what's going on. And even now, like I couldn't tell
Make
you
a
what I'd
joke out of
say.
it.
I don't know what I'd say.
Yeah.
If it was the jokeable kind of room, yes.
Oh,
if
like,
it
oh, I
wasn't,
messed that up. Yeah,
if it wasn't, then I'd do something else. But
Right, right.
I would address it and move forward from
Okay.
it. Right? Like I wouldn't. Fuck no.
But
I'm gonna
but
go out like that.
in
but
either,
I'd say
but in
something.
either, in any scenario
address
that you would correct it in either way, whether it's verbal or like, let me get back in there. I think that says something.
Well,
Right.
yeah,
That's
no, I
right.
agree.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
And I think for all our listeners, and I want to get to yours because I think it could be very like important moment. But let me just say this right now, men. So for any women who are listening right now, I just want you to understand that the conversation that we just had was very specific to how men interact at a very introductory level, right?
It comes down to respect.
But it's very meaningful.
It's very
to us.
primitive.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very primitive, very
Yeah.
very meaningful. But I will just say this: the idea that we put so much weight on this is because it matters to us in a great way.
Yeah.
People talk a lot about feminism. They talk a lot about, but we have certain little tiny subtleties as far as masculinity and dominance and assertiveness and making impressions to where unfortunately our handshakes can't be limp. They can't be premature.
Yeah, fucking won't be limp.
And I'm not saying that
Because you make a judgment off of that.
yeah. And
How-
so because of that, and I just want them to have the context behind it. When I go to shake a hand, I'm like an athlete. I practice this shit so that when those moments happen, the job interviews, the handshakes with the dads, I don't miss.
Right.
Yeah.
Our job is to not miss. And I know it sounds very dumb if you're not someone who agrees with that, or you're a female that may not understand that. I just want you to understand that
It's a social norm.
it's a social norm, but we don't miss though. I'm saying,
And I think there's a likeness to the female mentality, right? I think there's a way that they probably have a similar aspect of what they do.
Right.
but
And the handshake can be part of it. It's not
Right.
exclusive
No,
to
it's
men.
not exclusive, but I think it lends itself better to men, right?
Well, it's more important to us, I would say. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
we're more
off the
judged
bat,
on it.
if
We're
you
more
shake,
judgmental on a handshake, but
if you give me fingers off the bat, fuck you.
well, no, I'm with you. Like, okay, if you give me like a limp wrist, and
Yeah,
you're just like,
the
oh,
dead
this is
fish.
dangling out
The
there.
dead
Like,
fish,
I'm like,
you
hey,
just-
what the fuck
You
is
kiss
this?
it.
Yeah.
That's what we said, right? I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? You know what I mean?
Kiss, so when we practice, I catch your hands like, we want me to kiss this fucking
I
thing?
dare
fuck is this?
somebody give me fingers.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
I mean, like, if when I would have walked up today, if you would have grabbed my hand and got my fingers, I'd immediately I'd have looked right at you like, no, you know
We
what I
gotta
mean?
do that again.
No, this is
Well,
not
you
acceptable.
can read it too. If you
Yeah.
look at him and he's just like, yeah, that's what it is, then
Yeah.
you'd be like, all right, well,
No.
now I know what kind of person you are. But if you look at him and
Yeah,
you're like, hey,
and like,
no,
but I
fuck
think
that
both
up.
of us would have looked at it like, oh, something was wrong. Something's gone horribly wrong here.
There's other cues, right, that you can pick up off
Yeah.
of, but the handshake is the initial one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and this is all based around first impressions, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, you have a million impressions with somebody in life potentially, but however, the first one you'll never get back, right?
Right.
And a handshake is a big portion of
Yeah.
what that translates into.
And this is why men are weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's tied to primitive. Like, okay, I can miss the handshake, but if I miss the interaction, then I completely failed.
Yeah.
I can in a job interview, I can regain my steps.
Right.
Exactly.
And even further than that, I can demonstrate who I am through the duration of my job or whatever it is. But this is why I'm saying it's so primitive, because we put so much weight into how it matters, and
Right.
and to be honest,
And it's subconscious, right? You don't think about it.
no, you do.
Well,
I
not
do.
necessarily out front. Like,
you do, because
I don't. When I walk in to shake your hand, I don't. It's not in my head like, okay, knock it out. No, I'll say this. There are times when it is that.
Yeah.
There's times when I'm walking up and I'm like, nah,
Don't fuck this
like,
up.
So you say like, hey, this is my girl's dad. Okay, now I got it. I'm thinking it.
Yeah.
Then there's other times I walk up and here you are. All right, what's up, Jose? My mind's not like, okay, man, you got to make a fucking impression. No, I'm just like, be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
there we go.
We shook hands, both of us, Travis and Ken. We both shook hands tonight
we made eye contact, right?
on the first establishment, because I spotted him. He was on FaceTime. I wasn't going to interrupt that with a handshake.
Appreciate that. Shout out to my
And
little daughter, Chloe.
He was on the
out
FaceTime,
Chloe.
so I waited out in my car so I can properly shake his hand when I got up here.
Hey, I didn't know that, but now that I do know that, I respect you even more.
Because
than
that's how I established the situation.
Right.
And then when Ken got here, we met each other like
Yeah.
you know, James's
Previously.
birthday in like 2000,
Usually,
maybe
I was probably
1987.
pretty
like,
trashed when I did. Yeah, I usually am.
we introduced ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an automatic handshake.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. When we leave here tonight,
Oh, we hugging it out.
I'm gonna dab you up and I'm gonna hug you up after that.
Hell yeah.
But
I was gonna
that's
carry you to the car.
you might do that. It could be easy for you, too.
right,
I'm a
right,
little guy.
right.
But
Hey, don't let that outfit fool you.
Uh-huh.
That's athleisure wear, not active wear.
oh, I thought you had padding in here. I thought you was good. I thought you was good.
Fuck off, guy.
Okay, all right.
I'll help you
Hey,
pick him up.
hey, you know what's fucked up?
Somebody get his legs.
You know what's fucked up? We haven't even got to the sweaty hand.
Oh,
Who's got this?
yeah.
Oh, who has a sweaty
When
hand?
you're all nervous.
No, this is
and
job
fucking-
interviews.
you know what I
You
mean?
mentioned that. Like
Like,
that's
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
times.
yeah,
that a
yeah.
lot of people have that.
Before you go
I've
up, you
never
gotta
had a
wipe.
s-
You,
real
yeah,
quick.
you, but
Nope.
even if you do
I've
have
never
a
had a
sweaty
sweaty hand.
even if you
If
do,
you
though,
do,
you gotta
you
wipe
fucking
your hand
hey,
off.
yeah, make it have some goddamn class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta dry it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's nothing worse than a dead fish except for a wet dead fish.
Oh
If you
my
if you
God.
just hand me your hand like this and you make me do all the work
And the worst
and your
thing-
shit
I
is
know.
clammy, like you're
I gotta
fucking
say the
out.
worst thing was when someone shakes their hand and it's like I can't remember. There was one person though that it was always that. I was like, what is wrong with you?
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what is going on there?
For sure.
And it's again. So just to break it all down,
Yeah.
man. Handshakes. I think to a lot of. Just call it what it is. To a lot of men, I think
It's a
go a long
masculine
way,
thing.
right? It's a
It's
masculine thing,
masculine.
especially handshakes, and like I said too, especially when I meet someone older than me. It's so I could talk about this with you guys and like people my age all day. Like yeah, but whatever. Even if you got me, fuck you. You know I don't
Right,
care.
right, right.
But someone older than me and I want to demonstrate my level of respect for you.
Yeah.
Then I'm coming in. I'm coming
For
in.
sure.
I'm coming in gladiator style. I'm grabbing
If
that
you're-
wrist, baby.
If
you
you're
know what I'm
sitting
saying?
down, you're gonna stand
Warrior
up.
style.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude, 100%.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me. Is like I'll never shake a man's hand while I'm
Sitting
sitting
down.
down.
No.
Like I
No,
don't care
no.
if I got stuff on my lap. If I
Yeah.
have my
No, no, I'm
daughter,
with you.
like
You're
it doesn't.
gonna
I'm
stand
gonna
up
hand
and
her off.
shake his
And
hand.
but on the flip side of that, like as another level of respect, like you did, which I said, which made me respect you more. You wait for that person.
Well, right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
well,
Like,
then what opportunity? I'm
don't
going.
show
I'm going to.
don't show like you're impatient or like ugh, you know what I mean? If I have my daughter in my lap and you walk up to me and I'm gonna meet you for the first time, give me a second and to stand
Yeah,
up and shake
right,
your hand
exactly,
properly.
yeah.
I'd shake your hand while you're sitting there and
Yeah.
dominate you
Like a bitch.
Yeah.
If you
yeah,
do
you
that-
couldn't get up, huh?
I'm gonna sweep the leg.
I'd push
I'm
you,
gonna sweep the
I'd
leg.
push you back down.
Yeah.
Assert dominance. Oh my god.
You gotta push it back down.
Yeah, stay there.
Then we move into a different level of masculinity,
Hey, you
which
just tell-
involves me
hey.
fucking you up.
Real power move. You tell him. You don't have to get up.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Just stay there.
Hey,
Stay there.
Oh yeah. Don't get up. Don't get up. Yeah,
I've been-
yeah.
Well, my dick is right by your
I'm
face.
from
Oh fuck that.
I'm from the East Coast, quote unquote, the ghetto East Coast, Boston, Massachusetts, where we took public transportation as our transportation. Nobody had cars out there. There's no
Right.
need for it.
It's more normal out there. Yeah, for
So
sure.
you take the subway, you take the bus. Anyways, if a man gets up for you, that's dominant. Like if a man gets up for you, hey, take my seat.
Oh yeah,
He-
yeah, yeah.
Basically, that gets up. You get up for a pregnant woman, elder
Older lady. Yeah, yeah.
someone who has kids, especially one in her arms,
Disability
hey,
or
just
something.
Sit down. Hey,
Yeah.
It's a gentleman thing to do.
Right. But if you do it to a perfectly healthy
yeah,
man,
and he gets up for you and says, "Hey, take a seat," I'm gonna automatically be like, "No, you sit down. I got it. I'm good."
yeah, I can stand. I got this.
That man's gonna be like, "Fuck, I just tried to dominate you." No, homie,
Right,
I
right.
got you. You sit down. I'm good.
There's those
Alright,
little
I'm good.
social,
Let's
like
sit right
subtle
down.
things,
Cool
right?
things, dude.
with a fucking egg roll in his pocket. Just like, oh,
I was hungry.
I got an egg roll and a chicken strip in my pocket. I'm
and a
good.
fucking slice of pizza. This fucking guy.
No, I'm kidding. I agree with you. I would be like,
Yeah.
nah, man, fuck
Yeah.
off, dude.
But
Fuck
those
why-
are- those
why
are
you,
those-
why you keying on me, dude?
Yeah,
You know
those
what
are
I
the
mean?
subtle like social norms or whatever. And that's what we're talking about.
But
right?
to that original topic, I think the handshake's never gonna go away. I live. Well, yeah, I live.
Yeah, you do.
And typically work and
You live well.
Yeah, you
and-
do. You're a fucking man
You're
of
tipping
means
$100 if I've ever.
He's
fucking
a man
heard
of means.
He's a goddamn
You're
man
the
of
guy,
means.
dude.
He's a man of means.
he's the guy. I work for a Japanese industry where the Asians are prominent.
What does that mean? Like, what is? I need more.
I work for JFC, Japanese Food Corporation.
Okay.
Okay. They are very Asian Chinese, Japanese based.
Traditional. Yeah.
Where you meet employees who are just their traditional Japanese, Asian culture.
Yeah.
Now, a handshake can only go so far.
Mm-hmm.
With this culture, a bow. It's just as simple as a bow. And the people who I work with in the warehouse, I'm a warehouse worker, forklift operations, where they just exclude us out of anything. But if you
Which is
do,
typical in American.
That's usually how it
Yeah.
works. Yeah, that's usually how it works.
if you do meet the higher power of this Asian culture and you just bow, just a simple bow. That is stronger than a handshake.
Well, yeah,
And
I
it
mean,
comes down to cultural
it's very
differences.
cultural. I
Yeah.
mean, this is so
And-
we're talking our culture,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
But,
But you're right, yeah.
Given the times we're in with COVID and everything, you don't want to touch anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So we just taken in another supervisor manager who was also in the Asian culture. I met him on a bow. Everybody else, I'm the only one that never shook his hand, and I bowed to him. And I did it on an asshole perspective because I was like, I'm not gonna shake your hand. You're not gonna be here. You're not gonna be here for like a week, so you're not gonna last. I bowed to him, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you the respect, and I bow to you because I know it.
That's your cultural,
I know the
norm.
culture, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm gonna bow to you. Nice to meet you, and total all bow, everything. No eye contact, no nothing. Bow. He respected me to the utmost respect.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that went further than just a handshake. It was
And
like, welcome to the team type of shit. So
That's
I
a,
was
that's a
like,
fine line too, right? Because if you meet someone from another culture and you try to imitate what you think their culture is, like they could take that as a disrespect, like you're trying to, cultural
Well, right.
appropriation or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
it's a fine line, right?
Yeah.
I think you have some knowledge on it, you understand it, then okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
If you're
But
doing it with
if you're
a
in the
smirk,
kumite.
if you're doing it with a smirk, like
Well, like my
know,
man just said, he was trying to be a dick. So I mean,
I wasn't, I wasn't trying to
Oh, no,
be a
you-
but
dick.
it
said
could have been
asshole.
taken.
Yeah.
It could have been
Yeah.
taken that way, right?
was the-
that's what you said. Like, I didn't think this guy's gonna be here.
It
Fuck
was
him.
it was in the warehouse. It
But you
was
can-
the asshole.
But
like,
you
way to do
conducted it
but
with respect.
It was.
So
I
you
did mean
didn't
in
do it
respect.
like, hey, fuck you, right there. It's like, hey, this is respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got
Like
you.
I literally just was like, "Hey, welcome to the team.
Yeah,
welcome
yeah.
to the team."
You
I'm
were
about to-
respecting COVID guidelines.
Yes,
you're
and
like,
the culture.
I'd say
at the
this
same
though.
time.
Okay, and I probably shouldn't, but fuck it, whatever.
We can't get canceled.
Yeah, no, it's worse than that. But
I
just
just
whatever.
said kumite.
Let's just say, and there's people that I've been around that when the COVID shit happened, and they come up to me, and it's like normally they come up and they would like, oh, everyone wants to shake your hand. This gentleman comes up and he's like. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up, man? And I didn't even make an attempt. Like, I want to shake your hand. It ain't my thing with this gentleman anyway. I shake everyone's hand, as you guys know. If I fuck with you, man, like I do, and I'm not saying I don't fuck with him, I just, hey, that ain't
just
where
met
we're
you.
at,
We're
right?
new.
No,
Yeah,
I know the dude. It's just not where I'm at with him, right? But he comes in and he goes, oh, no. Let's bow. And I was like,
You're like, how about
What?
I bow out of
Can-
this
can-
interaction?
Can we normalize that?
nah, man.
No.
Nah, I don't want to
I'm
normalize
I'm gonna
it.
start a new one.
Only if we-
you know what? I'd normalize it with the people that I don't fucking care for.
Only if we touch foreheads when we do it.
No. I want to do like a.
I'll lick your fucking face.
Travis bowed, Ken lick.
Right on the forehead. Simba.
You ever see the pictures I take? I'm always licking somebody, dude. I don't give a fuck, dude. Yeah, I hit you with that
Fix
fucking
my
right
ha-
across the
fix
forehead.
my hair
oh,
real
boy.
quick for me while you're at it.
Yeah. I kind of want to normalize that
No bowing?
just for the time being.
It's not our culture, man.
No,
No,
not bowing.
yeah.
Not. But
I
a
respect
symbol,
it.
A symbol. Like now's the time to establish a symbol within our group. No disrespect to any culture, but I'm saying like some of the cultures that are out there, right? Like you said right now, you bow.
Yeah.
You don't do eye contact. It's not about that. It's not about any kind of dominance. But what if we do like we do a bow and then like a low dap, and that dap symbolizes that we're not above you. I'm not above you. We're
Hey, James, look, when I
still
can walk up
contact
to
it,
you and I give you my handshake, it's three 3 fucking each way, fucking right.
I'm not worried about you.
It's 3 each way. I look at, I'm right there. I'm not trying to dominate you. It's just never a perspective in my mind at all. So I don't feel like that shit.
I don't
can't
want
be
to-
advised.
I don't want a historical that 3 dap, but we've done that 3 lap. That 3 dap.
Because I've always done that.
That's
That's
just a
3
chance
times the
thing.
chance of transmitting COVID.
And to-
One handshake, you got one time.
Yeah.
You guys went in 3 times. You're like, fuck it, let's get it.
But quick though.
Yeah, yeah,
but,
yeah.
but no, to your
You're locked
I'm
in.
kidding, I'm
You're
kidding.
locked in.
okay,
I'm kidding.
okay, but to your point, it started with me
Yeah.
because I've always done that 3 dap, and I think I want to say it was like I don't know who it was in football. It might have been like Ocho Cinco.
It's a common thing.
But
Ocho
a 3 dap to me was like
Chad
1, 2, 3,
Johnson.
right?
No, I know.
Fuck with you.
No, but I think
But it's been that long since-
I think I brought that because to me, like I want more than one. Like when it comes down to like your boys and having a good time, I want like 3.
Well, I mean, I liken it to like, and so like, and so I there's other people that I work with, man, and I think like I got different handshakes with different people there. You know what I mean? Like I've had people coming to me trying to do the 3, and I was like, no, no,
You are
dude.
not
Like,
worthy.
You're not in the club. You know what I mean? Like we could do our own.
Oh, you clock in,
But-
it's like NBA. We got to have a.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say.
handshake
It's
every
very much
time.
like the NBA. It's very much like that. Like, and I think that only goes to show the symbolism and how much appreciation I have for you. Like, maybe no, you can't do this one, but we could do one here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay with that. So my friend Benjamin, me and Benjamin, we created one. It's a little back tap, and then like fucking like I'm going to the hole with the ball.
You have
know
to do
what
it
I'm
on your
saying?
knees. Or?
Yeah, no, it's always on your knees, and it's very. You take your shoes off.
no
You
clothes.
leave your socks on because Travis is a weirdo like that. You know what I mean?
Relax.
That handshake will never leave. It will never leave.
Well, and that's what I think. But so we talk about like dominance and all that. But then I think when it's with my friends, it's never about dominance.
No.
Like
At
nothing about that is dominance, right?
Right.
Now it's about like I want you to understand like this is something that like I'm willing, like I want to be. This is us.
It's
You know what I'm
not to
saying?
use the I word, but it's like another level of intimacy, right? Like between you and your friends.
No, you wouldn't fucking use the one word that you should have used. No, it's
But
not
it, is,
intimate.
but it is that, right? It is that. Like you have specific friends, you have a specific handshake, or even a level of handshake. Like you may give the triple dab, you know what I mean, to your boy, but you're not going to give that to this, an
I
acquaintance.
really wish you wouldn't have said intimate.
I know, but that's the word for it.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's, I'm trying to think of a synonym so I can fucking throw that out there better.
Right.
But you know what? I don't have one. And I guess
Because
that's what
it's
it
the
is.
best. It's the best
can't.
word. I just didn't want to use it. So
But at the same time, like you pointed out, it's 3 chances, but no, it's actually the most impact we can have with the least amount of contact.
Yeah.
It's 1, 2, 3,
I th-
and then you sanitize as necessary.
yeah.
well,
know
and
what
I
I mean?
think too. I remember
Don't
like
touch me
when it first fucking happened, when this whole COVID shit first happened, man, and like walking up and it's kind of like, well, we're gonna do this, and it's like, yeah, we are. You know what I
Because
mean?
there's trust there.
And it just is what it is. And you know what? And like, I think, man, and this is something I'm gonna say. I think today a lot of people will look at that like, oh, fuck you guys. You are. I'm trying not to fucking cuss so much, and I can't help it. It's just part of who I am. But like, legitimately, I think a lot of people look at it like, hey, you guys should not be doing that. Like, that's so wrong. We shouldn't be sitting here right now doing this like this. You know what, man? Like, okay, here's the reality of, and then this is the high level overview you can look at it. This is all of us, right? This is us.
We wouldn't be here if it was
no, right?
detrimental
Like I've
to
had
you.
situations where I was like, "Hey, man, you know what? Maybe it's not the smartest idea. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Whatever. You guys are my friends, and I value it, and I wouldn't put you in a bad position, right? Like I think I've demonstrated that, and I think you guys have done the same as well. And if I'm gonna shake your hand and people have a problem with it, people are gonna have a problem with anything you do ever, right? Like if you, Travis, were like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go to college tomorrow. Somebody's gonna have a problem with you for doing that.
Yeah.
And do you let that stop you? No, you keep going. There's not enough reason to stop. It shouldn't be. And if it is, then you didn't have the real desire to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And
There's
so
there's a saying. It's like you can stoop as low as a doormat, and people will still say that you're not low enough.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And so with that said, I just feel like, you know what, and And I think everyone should live your life for you. Don't worry about what everybody else got to say. Let them say what they want.
Right.
That's
Like Kobe
true.
Bryant has the quote of saying, "Hey man, you know what? If they're not booing for you, if they're not against you, then you're not doing what you need to do. Then you're not living up to what you should be.
Yeah, if you don't have haters, you're not doing anything.
Then that's the point. Yeah. If no one's hating on you, then what the fuck you doing?
I counter quote to that because I never heard that one before. But I just off the bat was like, oh, what the fuck, really? Because my key under the doormat is the key to get into what I got to get to.
Fair enough.
What do you mean? Didn't I hear?
Wait.
What was your
key
quote?
So I'm just saying, like you know, people are gonna hate on you no matter what, and even if you lower yourself enough to be the doormat that everybody walks on, there's
Yeah.
still gonna be people that say you're not low enough.
Okay,
You know what I
you're
mean?
saying the
But
keys under the
my
door.
my key to where I got to get to is under my doormat. So I'm lower than the doormat, and that's my
Okay.
key. So
I
I'm
mi-
gonna
I
get to
missed
where I gotta
that.
get
I
to.
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. All right.
You
all
can
right.
always up the down.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Like, hey, you know what? Like, maybe you're looking at it like that's the lowest you could go, but what's under there actually gets you where you need to be.
Exactly.
And here's the funny part about it all. You're right. People would be like, "Hey, don't shake hands. Don't get too close. Don't get within 6 feet." Because we're living in a day and age where that shit's just not
It's a
acceptable. right now.
reality too.
And not so much that it's not acceptable, it's that these are the rules that are in place, the regulations in place to prevent this kind of stuff. But here's what I want everybody to know about the podcast. You got us sitting here. There's not 6 feet between anybody. But we talked about this whole episode was about level of trust. And we're inching up closer to episode 50, which is a huge milestone for us. And I'll just say right now, episode 50 is going to be a round table discussion. I want Ray here. I want Jose here. I want Travis is already here. I want you here.
Another Jose?
I want
Two Jose.
We're gonna need to get some equipment.
Yeah, no.
Oh my
And
God.
here's the thing. I want the people who I trust, the people who are supported us, the people who we understand can be here and do this kind of stuff. So it's not always about what's going on in the world. It's about who you trust. It's always going to come down to that. People come into your house, you invite them over. I just invited you two over. You're already here Saturday. Crystal's birthday. The people who we trust are going to be here. And that's where you got to live in this day and age. We talked about handshakes. The handshake, to answer your question further, will the handshake come back? Of course. And I'll tell you why. Everybody wants safety. Everybody wants to be safe, to feel safe again. And as much as everybody wants to go and have their barbershops open up, as many people who want businesses to open up, restaurants to open up, they also want human interaction to open up. That's the main thing
Yeah.
behind it all.
Yeah.
So when that does come around, it comes back. We're waiting for those things to come back.
And to kind of touch on that point, and it's something that like I feel the same way, but like Smoking Hot Stephanie pointed out, like we were going to church pretty regularly for a while, but she was like, I don't even really want to go right now because I can't interact with people the way that I used to be able to. She's like, I want to be able to hug my friends and do those things that we used to do. And it's like we can't right now because of the world that we live in. And she's like, I feel like if we go back, it's not going to be the same. And it's like, it changes things, and it does, it does. But yeah, that's definitely something that her and myself, and I feel like everybody is waiting for that to open back up, is like just the basic human interaction of a handshake or a hug of a friend or of a loved one that that's been kind of taken away from us. And I think that's what's hit us all the hardest.
And it's interesting. Like you say church, and like that's and
That's just an example.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging it at all. I'm simply gonna say though, like that wasn't my thing. But like I'm very much like, man, I used to go out to bars, and like that was my favorite thing. Was like I go out not because I want to get drunk or anything. It was a nice
Just to interact
caveat
with
to
people.
it, right? But like I loved meeting people and interacting and understanding. They're growing from meeting people, right? And then so to hear you say like, hey, like I can't go and be the same, and it's very much so the same now. Like they have the outdoor things, and
Yeah, you
but,
could
but
try.
but it's not
It's not.
nearly like the
Like it
world
used to
was,
be.
right?
Yeah.
But and even with that though, and I think the takeaway from that is still, man, make the most of it, right? Like if it maybe you can't physically interact, but you can interact, and it's better
Right.
than no interaction whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And you got to be able. I think in tough times, you got to be able to look at the bright side. You have to be able to see the positive, the silver lining,
Yeah.
which is also a movie. If you guys
Like,
haven't seen it,
or-
Silver Linings Playbook
or
is
the
actually
Mark
a good movie.
Wahlberg, right?
No, that's Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. Or the killer, the killer's Mr. Brightside.
Oh, and I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah. I thought it was the movie The Killers with Katherine Heigl. All right.
All right, so I think we can get into our truth now.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at me, so I guess I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
up? Who's
Go,
up?
Ken.
All right. So, my truth. Here's my truth, and honestly, it's gonna be something simple, but it's very true to me. Last week I was talking to Travis. He was saying like, "Hey man, like I hate dealing with people," and I thought like, "No, I love it," and I do. I just said half of the fucking show I've been talking about. I love interacting with people when I want to. I hate when you go into a fucking store and people are like blocking aisles. You go into Walmart and now this guy's in there with his basket diagonal across the fucking aisle. You can't get through. You got to pretend like you're looking at something else because you're waiting to look at the item that he was blocking you from. Or people just walking slow in the aisles. Listen, guys. People that go to the mall. And I get it. Like I'm in there and I got where I'm going and I want to get there and that's it. And I understand some people are just like, hey, they're spending their weekend at the mall, I guess. I don't know.
Killing time.
I don't know and I don't care. Just get the fuck out of my way. Can you move? You know what I mean? Just move to the side.
Yeah.
Or act like and understand that the same, you know what I mean? Like everyone's not here for the same thing. You're here for have some basic, decent human decency. I hate that. I love people. I hate being behind people, though. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes
I
sense.
love people, but I hate when they're in the way.
Yeah. Like, and that's about as true as I could say it. And I just really don't like it. I mean, fuck, I went to 7-Eleven this morning, and I was in there for like 15 minutes, and I'm like, why? You know why? 'Cause people are buying lottery tickets. Like, okay, well, you know what? Let me get another one now. And I'm like, dude, go scratch your shit in your car like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. Just have some basic fucking decency. You get your ticket, go to your car, scratch it off. Did you win? Come back. I don't care. But don't do it right there in the fucking line.
Your
You know what I
lotteria
mean?
ticket.
Yeah, like El Diablo. And that's my truth, son. I'm out.
Jose?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to earlier. My truth is the driver.
No, stop. Travis, think about it. No, 'cause you know what? First time on the show,
Yeah.
come back with a better truth.
Okay.
All right. fair
Travis,
enough.
go.
So mine was kind of one of the things that we didn't really get to touch on. It was another social norm, which kind of leads into pet peeves as well, is chewing with your goddamn mouth closed. Now that restaurants are opening back up and stuff, and
You
you're gonna
have
be
attacked me
attacking
all
Ken all
night.
night.
You're gonna be interacting
I've had
with
enough
other
of your
people. You're
shit.
gonna be eating in restaurants with other people. Chew with your goddamn
chew
mouth
with your
closed.
mouth open?
Hey, Erica
Nobody-
tells me all the time, like, hearing you chew is just fucking
It's
disgusting.
disgusting. Nobody wants to hear you smacking on your fucking peanut butter sandwich. Like, chew with your goddamn mouth closed. That's all I gotta say. Like, it's,
I eat fast, Travis.
that's fair enough, but do it quietly,
While
goddamn
you're
it.
tearing your fucking pancakes up.
Yeah, it's silent, isn't it? It's silent. It doesn't bother anybody.
The aesthetics are disgusting.
Yeah, well, don't look at me. Don't look at me. You can close your eyes. You can't close your ears. All right. Chew with your goddamn mouth closed. I'm out.
All right, I'm gonna give you time. I'm gonna give you time
Yeah.
To come up with yours. For me, I just want to say one of the biggest realizations I've had this past week was my daughter. I thought, and this is for the parents out there. If you're a parent, you're listening to right now, listen the fuck up, because I'm learning this shit too. But you can learn through me. I thought you'd be a good dad. You have good ideals. You're a good person. You spend your time doing good things, and you're productive and you're active and everything that entails, right? Willpower, determination, everything that goes into being a parent. You want to display that for your kids. What I failed to realize, and as much as this hurts me to say, my daughter's 7. I hope she's 7.
I hope she said.
She'll be 8 this year. But to me, it's like I went 7 years thinking as long as you just give her a good example, it's enough. Now, here's where I came to the realization this week that no, I'm 32 years old, I think. I'm 32 years old.
This guy's all fucked up.
I'm 32 years old, and I thought, okay, give her a good example, and that will lead her through life. If she can have a good example in front of her constantly, right? No. I'll tell you right now. The point that I learned this week is that I have to reclimb the mountain of life with her to teach her, because as she hits new points in her life, she has no fucking clue. My example gives her no value. There's nothing there for her in the moment that she's at now. 7 years old, gives her no value at all. So I had to understand this week, because I had a very good week, very productive week where all my goals were being hit. I was productive. I was doing things. I was knocking things off my list. But then she did some shit this week, or she didn't do some shit this week, that I was like, wait, I got to think about this for a second. I got to climb the mountain with her again. So as a parent, you're going to scale the mountain again. So I got to go through life with her again, with my experience, my knowledge, and kind of climb it with her to where she becomes that adult where obviously she's going to be an adult. She goes off onto her own path, but I didn't look at it like that. I didn't look at it like I had to climb it and continue to learn that lesson with her and understand what she needed in the moment. I just thought I had to give her a good example, but it's bigger than that. You got to guide them back again. You got to kind of go through your life again. What would a 7-year-old think? How do I guide the 7-year-old through where she's at now? Tell her like, hey, this is really, what you did was really dumb. Or, hey, like, you can't do this because of this. So like, you can't just be an example. So I know a lot of times we give a lot of parents the credit for just being that, but it's so much bigger than that. And I realized that this week is like, I almost have to relive my life through her and guide her in her timeline. And it blew my mind, because I looked at Crystal, Smoking Hot Crystal, and I looked at Crystal and I said, this girl is going to be the death of me. Because as smart and as fucking impressed as I am on a daily basis, she is so clueless in some areas of her life that I thought we're just going to be good because she would see me doing my thing. But the reality of it is, it's not that simple. It's not that easy. And I thought, okay, a lot of people say parenthood is easy, especially when you get to the older 7, 8, and they get into those ages. Fuck no. They need you more than ever at that point, because they have so much exposure and so much life experience coming at them. It's time for me to put my backpack on and trek that mountain with her and kind of go at her pace now. I'm kind of have to play multiple roles. I gotta live my life, but I also gotta fall back into her zone and understand, okay, I gotta walk with her through this point in her life. So my advice and my truth is, dive in and be that partner that they need at this age. Because I was so oblivious until this week. And I swear to God, I still think she's going to be the death of me, because she is the most important thing in my life, but she is also she needs a lot of goddamn help, you know, and that's not saying anything about her. It says more about what I have in front of me. So my truth is just that, parents out there, it's not that simple. It's just about being a good person. It's about being their mate and their partner through life until they're able to walk on their own. And I didn't understand that till this week. And it's been a very big moment in my life. It's been like an epiphany where I literally thought like, oh, I'm fucked. So that's my truth for tonight.
It's a good one.
Buckle up and get ready for the fucking ride.
That's a good one. Yeah. Well said.
You ready now?
It's my turn.
It's your turn now. Give me some real shit.
My truth tonight is for the singles. Now, you single people out there are looking for your type. Air quote type. Go out there, explore, give everything a chance, and just go out there and open-minded. Now I've come in contact with people that are just closed-minded and want what they want, and they're stereotype. But you need to go out there, expand your horizon. So gain experience, give it a chance, and stop holding back. That's my truth.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying give me a chance. I'm saying
Hey,
Give my man a chance. You know what I'm saying?
it comes out. I'm reaching for a chance.
He tips like a motherfucker. Okay, you're in the game.
That's right.
I don't have that kind of money, but
No, that's a good one
Yeah.
though, man. Sincerely.
give it a chance. Open your horizons, and give it a chance. Reach out your comfort zone.
I think people tend to bundle themselves into a group without opening your mind up to understanding things. But if you do that, then you limit yourself from what you could experience, right? You limit yourself from understanding what you could get to. And I think the more that you open yourself up and you challenge yourself, I think challenge yourself on a daily basis is essential anyway. It's essential to growth if you want to grow. If you don't, you want to stay still and do nothing, then fucking don't. But I think Jose has a great point. I think, like we talked about last week, if a type for us, it became personality. I think more than anything, right? It became personality. I think.
And a fat ass.
Well, we all agreed you gotta. If you have a fat ass, it's a plus. You know what I mean? But you know what outweighs that is a great personality. If you have a great personality, I could care less. Now, so I think that's kind of what he's touching on there. So yeah, I agree with you, man.
Thank you.
I think fucking go out on a limb sometimes, man. It might change your life, and it might be the person that you needed the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was better than traffic.
That was a lot better.
Okay, traffic sucks. That was my truth once. It was my truth once. Yeah.
And that would have sufficed had we not talked about it. But I wanted you to give a real truth. So make sure you guys are going and checking out Men and Means podcast on all social media platforms. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. YouTube, again, thank you to the people who are commenting, and make sure you guys go check out those other people.
And shout out Audio Files Podcast, man.
Shout out Audio Files
They give us
Podcast.
a shout out, so I want to give them some love.
Yeah. So make sure you guys go check them out. They're friends of ours. But you know, the big thing is like make sure you guys share it, because that's gonna be the biggest help for us. You guys share it. We're gonna go ahead and flood the marketing and put it out
Social
there.
media.
But make sure you guys are sharing it. Make sure you guys are. I think a huge thing is sharing it. Make sure you guys are rating us on the platforms that you guys are on. Make sure you guys are out there.
Thumbs up, save it,
Yeah,
send it.
give us a 5-star.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
And interact, right? Like the YouTube comment, that was a big thing. And
That was
you know,
great.
and that's something easy because like we genuinely want to hear your opinion, right? Like,
Well,
you know,
yeah, that's what I'm
interested.
saying. I think if you give us feedback, it's motivation for us to keep going, and even deeper than that, it gives us the understanding of where we are with what we're saying.
And
right?
also too, like I want to hear more perspectives. What are some things that you do that people might think are weird? What are some things that you think are normal or that are normal that you think are weird?
do you think I'm weird because I drive with my right hand and I eat with my mouth open and I fucking
does
put my
anyone
foot on
else
the
tear up
dashboard?
their pancakes with their hands like
Yeah,
a
you know what I
caveman?
mean?
Will handshakes come back?
Right,
Let us know what you guys
We
think.
want to hear this stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely interact. Because we like to know that you're out there and we want to know your
Do you
opinions.
spend money on shoes?
Yeah. I think everyone does.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Excessive money. I don't. Not compared to some people, but
And
I
on,
want to.
and on that note,
Okay, bye.